you started cutting, and every week things just seem to be getting better and better. You're getting stronger, you can stick to your walks and runs and everything, your cardio, you can eat really, really well, and your training is just going through the roof. You're getting stronger than you were previously, and you're losing weight. Nothing can go wrong. All right, cuts now ended, you've got abs, you've got a great conditioning going on, and you start to bulk because obviously that's where the muscle's built, and you find yourself slowly but surely, you stop caring about your diet as much, you start skipping the cardio session that you were doing, and before you know it, now you're binging and you feel like crap and you're just getting fat again. So why does that keep happening? First things first, if you're a former fat person like me, from a young age, you would have been a fat boy, okay? No one suddenly implodes when they're older in age. Let's say they're 20 years old and they suddenly get fat. It's most likely going to be like a rough patch in their life, or they're just not very educated. It's slowly a gradual thing that over the years it compounds and you get fat basically, right? So why we enter the gym? Us former fat people, we just want to look amazing, right? We just want to look shredded and we want to be massive, okay? That's fair enough. So what we always think about is, once this fat goes, I'll look amazing, or I just need to get rid of the fat. So when we're slowly increasing that weight on the scale, or when we can't look forward to that sort of visualization we had. So when you're losing weight, every week you look slightly different, and that compounds, right? That motivation just compounds, and you're able to sort of carry your way forward. But with bulking, for the first few weeks, it might feel amazing because your water's back in, you look huge, you feel really, really strong, but slowly there's not much to look forward to anymore. And then you have spent most of your life being a fat person, right? So what you relate to more so than, let's say, the average person, is trying to lose weight to look better. So gaining weight to look better, it doesn't compute in your head quite well. And let me tell you the truth, okay? It's nothing to do with discipline or willpower, right? The stages, right? The first stage is you start looking a bit softer, or it's been enough time now through your bulk where you're looking kind of a bit more fluffier. And then that plays a mind game on you, it plays a trick, right? So you now look worse. We all know it in our head. When we're researching, we tell everyone, we look into this and we say, we need to build muscle and we'll get a bit fat slightly towards the end in order to basically have a good amount of muscle mass in our frame. But we don't believe it truly deep inside, okay? So your brain's telling you, yeah, you're looking slightly worse. And then because we're so conditioned to sort of kind of punish ourselves and cut fat, stop eating, eat less, move more. When we're bulking, when you look a bit fluffier. So when that happens, there's like a sense of guilt in there. On a day-to-day basis, you're not as up for it because you feel like you've lost, if that makes sense. You'll know what I'm talking about. If you're a former fat person, you'll know. I've been there as well. You feel like you've lost already, okay? And then you sort of lost. So what you do is you reach for that extra meal. You skip that workout because you're down and out, okay? You skip that workout, you skip the meal, and all that does is make things worse and worse and worse, and you can't break free. We know the problem, okay? I think I've articulated it quite well. There's probably more to it, but just wanted to give you a brief overview of what the main issue is and why a lot of former fat people, when they bulk, just like me, we get fat again. We have a great start for a good few months, but we can't carry it forward, and then at the end we get fat. Right, so the fix. What is the fix? I figured it out, okay? I'm currently in the process of applying it to myself, but I've already seen huge changes in the way I'm approaching this bulk. So first of all, to start with, the first few weeks for my bulk were amazing. It was really, really good. Bleeds into 2-3 months, and like I say, I'm a bit more fluffier now. There's no like instant return on investment. I'm not seeing that magical change in the mirror like I used to when I'm cutting. So I found myself slipping away again. And while I'm telling you, and while I was telling myself, look here, Noah, you're slipping away. You've done this before 2-3 times. Remember, you went up to 80 kilograms, 85 kilograms, and you had to cut all the fat again. It's going to happen again. But I was still walking towards it. And it all became a thing because of this, right? The fix is you need to train yourself like from scratch. Let's just pretend you're a baby again, okay? Like I told you, when you're fat, it's a learned habit. So from a young age, you're fat and you always have in mind like, oh, this is extra shit everywhere. I need to get rid of, We were always just told, this is like a really, really bad thing to have fat, which is true. It's not healthy at all. So what you need to do is now train yourself in a positive way rather than considering it as like a punishment or the fact that you've fallen off or you've lost. The days you want to skip the gym, okay? The days you want to skip the gym, do anything at all, okay? Anything. 2 push-ups, okay? The reason I say that is that will then send you a signal to your brain saying, I didn't want to show up, but I did something. I'll give you an example of 2 push-ups, but if you want to go to the gym and do something very light or just completely skip your main workout and do something else, that's fine. Even if it's 2 push-ups or like 10 skipping ropes or whatever, when you don't want to do that walk, if you walk 20 steps, but you need to start lying to yourself, okay? You start lying to... Oh, it's a good advice. Listen, hear me out. you start lying to yourself and giving yourself that little dopamine hits, the little boost, saying, you know what, I didn't want to go to the gym, but I still did something. And what that will do is that will basically give your brain a more winner's mindset as opposed to a loser's mindset, and then that will compound into, because it might last a week, it might last 2 weeks, it might be every other so often, every other few days where you're like, I need to get these 4 sessions in the week, but I do 2 sessions, the other 2 I just can't do anymore, you find excuses. So it might be the case where the first 2-3 months, what you do is you'll go to your first 2 sessions in the week, the next 2 you're going to want to skip them, and then you'll basically do those 2 push-ups method that I've just told you. What that will do is those 2 push-up methods, those 2 days of that week that you're sort of having to build yourself again, that will compound, okay? Like I said, there's positivity with the cutting side of things where you're sort of measuring your waistline, looking in the mirror, you look amazing. That's those dopamine hits, and that's sort of keeping you on top of things. And this way, that's the same thing it will do. And so maybe the first 2 months you'll find yourself falling back. Those little positivity hits to your brain will slowly build you into this machine, okay? It will slowly do a thing where you're like, you know what? When I don't want to do it, I still show up. And then there's no question of discipline, there's no question of willpower. When you don't want to show up, you're still doing something. And that will make you do even more because you feel good about yourself. I mean, when was the last time where you felt crap about yourself, or you felt deep inside something was off, something wasn't right, and you achieved something amazing, or you even had a bit of fun, right? Someone that's really stressed out or upset, wherever, you take them to an arcade, take them to bungee jumping, they're going to bloody hate it. So it's just, why would you do it? Okay? A person that feels good in themselves and is happy about things and sort of with it all, that same person could literally go into in their garden and they'll be the happiest person on the planet. So that's what you need to do. You need to lie to yourself. You need to build this personality for your own sake, that, you know what, when I don't feel like I'm training, or when I don't feel like I want to train, you do something. When I don't want to eat really clean, you eat clean as possible. So rather than, basically, that's what I was going to say. With food, same thing. What you can do with food, I don't want to eat this super clean meal, I'm a bit bored of it. Have a little bit of dark chocolate, any chocolate you want. Or take something away. So like, let's say you have rice and mince or whatever. Take the rice away. Instead, have a cheese and onion pasty. That sounds stupid. Something that won't throw you off completely. So you're thinking, you know what? I didn't throw my whole meal away. I modified it a little bit. So it's just that, back to the same thing again, where you're giving yourself a little bit of a positivity hit. This might sound counterproductive, obviously, because you're thinking, looking at me now, Noah, what kind of rubbish advice is this? I'm already falling off, and then you're telling me to do this shit. What's going on? I'm telling you now, it's playing the long game, okay? When you're cutting, obviously, it's instant. Everything's instantaneous. And us former fat people, we are always built for cutting. So when we do start losing weight, we can do these massive motivational videos, and I post them on my Instagram where I'm like, look at me before, look at me now. But we know bulking takes effort and time and diligence, but we just can't pull through just because of that psychological block in there. So just to get rid of that, build small wins, and then that will compound into bigger ones, like I said previously. So what you want is, you may already be falling off, that's fine, you might have completely fallen off, but you have to start somewhere, okay? It's not going to be a day one thing. Another thing I used to do as well, was when I feel like this, I'd be completely spiraling, I'd eat rubbish food, I would sit there and I'd reprogram my diet, and I'd reprogram my gym program as well. So a lot of this is very common, okay? You start program hopping as well. This is very common, I'm telling you. A few people I've spoken to, that former fat people, have the same thing. And then what happens is, you've got a new diet plan and you've got a new training program as well. And what that does for you is that suddenly everything's working again. Oh wow, that's what it was. I was getting bored. That's what it was. I was getting bored of my training. I was getting bored of my diet. 2 weeks in, same problem. Because you can't patch this. The reason why it works for that short amount of time is because what it is, it's a brand new start, and you haven't failed anything. Everything's brand new. So from now, I'm going to do it. It's going to work fine. And then it obviously fails, because what the problem is you can't just patch over it. The real problem is inside. It's deep inside. And the only way you can fix it is retrain your own behavior. It's very complicated. It can sound easy for someone else to tell you to do that. But the only way I found to do that is build small wins into bigger ones. If you don't believe me, or you don't think that works, give it a try, yeah? And tell me why I'm wrong, because I might be wrong. That's just what I've come across, and I've noticed that has made an improvement in myself. Obviously, it's something I've looked at recently, and I've tried to implement it in my own life. And I've had a few weeks that have been on and off, but I know it's building me up for a better future. And then in future, where I can sort of train fully and not slip into that fat Noah where I was back in the days. But yeah, if you're struggling with the same thing, do let me know in the comments. That'd be awesome to hear from you. And hopefully you enjoy this video, and I'll come up with some more videos for you guys. If you can like, share and subscribe if you did enjoy it, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.